name's Chance Grow. I'm with Mid-America Timber Company. We're a new company based out of McCurtain, Oklahoma. What we do is we come in to places and we basically are taking out all the cedar. The farmers and ranchers around here, you know, they're they don't like cedar much because it takes up a lot of their water and everything for their grass, for their cows. And so what they're doing is they're having us come in, take out the cedar, and basically cleaning the place up, and then they're making grazing land out of it. Whenever I done a lot of research, looking at equipment, and done several different things, talked to several places that made equipment, and I was just doing some calling around one day, and ended up calling Jim. I seen a video on YouTube of Ponsse equipment, and I was real curious about it, so I called up there anyways, got a hold of Jim. Jim, he pretty much sold me on the machine right off the bat, but anyways, I told him I wanted to look at one, so he scheduled up a meeting there. They was gonna have a show there at Hot Springs, and so I ended up going down there, meeting him one day. He actually brought an Argo down there, and I got to look at it, and I was pretty much sold on it from that point. Tim come down, he showed me how to run the machine. You know, I mean, I've run a lot of equipment, and ever since I was young, you know, dozers and excavators, and this piece of equipment's a lot more complex. But Tim, he showed me right off the bat. He was very patient with me, you know, because it was slow going for me at first, you know, and but no, he was patient with me, showed me, and it come along pretty quick. I mean, it's not, you know, I mean, it is very complex, but if you've run equipment before, you can get the hang of it fairly quickly, I'd say. So I haven't ran logging equipment prior to having this. This is actually my first forestry equipment that I've owned, and so no, I didn't have any experience whenever I got this equipment. I mean, it was the first of its kind for me, and so like I said, you know, I run excavators and dozers pretty much my whole life, but this is different for sure. But with the trainers like Tim, you know, coming out and helping out, I mean, it made it a lot easier to learn. You know, there's every feature on here amazes me, but you know, like I said, this is my first piece of forestry equipment. But I would say what amazes me the most about the machines is the harvester head. I mean, that thing will just it just takes a cedar tree and just dismantles a cedar faster than anything I've ever seen. You know, the weather here in Oklahoma, it's we have our dry season, which is through the summer months, and you can just about get around anywhere. But coming fall through the middle of winter is like the wettest time for us, so we don't get to do a whole lot. And what we can do, we got to stay on higher ground to do it. You know, obviously these machines get around better in wetter conditions than any other piece of equipment that I've run. I mean, they really do get around good. The forestry industry in Oklahoma, I mean, to the south of us, where I'm located at, I mean, there's a history of forestry here. There's not much that goes on around where I'm located at now. You know, that was more of a thing probably 50, 60 years ago that they did. But to the south of us here in Oklahoma, they still do a lot of pulpwood and different things, paper mills and stuff. But where I'm located at, there's not much going on, and so that's one of the reasons that I got into it. Just gonna, you know, try to get something going, you know, in this area. When I bought these machines, I bought them, you know. A thing here is, like I said, we're out here and we're cutting on these ranchers' land and cutting cedars. And that's the main reason I got the equipment was because so many acres around here, you know, me growing up, there's been so many acres of cedars that are just been pushed and dozed and burned, you know. I mean, that's what these ranchers are doing, the farmers, you know, the cedars are sucking all the water out of the ground, and nothing grows under a cedar tree, you know. And we're in farm country here, you know, and so they want the cedar removed. And then obviously they're coming back in and cleaning it up and making it grazing land is what they're doing with it. And so that's what made me get into this. And, you know, so I bought the equipment first. You know, I'd been looking at several ways to get rid of logs and different things, you know, and And for me, I mean, I can still do it, but the freight eats it up. You know, trucking logs will eat into your profits pretty good. And so I pulled the trigger and went ahead and invested in a mill too, so we can process our own logs, you know. But you know, this, in my opinion, you have to have the equipment before you can have a mill in my area, because there's no one else is doing it, you know. And so obviously, if you've ever cut down cedars with chainsaws much, it's really hard to find people nowadays that do it, you know. And so I thought it was very good. You know, I already had the equipment, and so I went ahead and got a mill, and so from there forward, I mean, like I said, we're a new company, but we're gonna start milling our own timber.